Welcome to a special episode of Real Nerds Podcast, where we are announcing Movie Madness 2022. This year's theme is DC versus Marvel. We are coming to you with a sort of Selection Sunday show. The Selection Sunday announcement went up on Sunday. We are recording this on Tuesday, and it's coming out on Thursday as the first matchup is getting started on Twitter. So if you weren't with us for Movie Madness when we started it 2 years ago, basically COVID hit, everything shut down. We were all stuck at home and bored. So I said, I need some kind of a tournament in March to stay sane. So I just took 16 movies off my shelf, threw them on the website, and just said, hey, everyone vote. Who's going to win this tournament? Anyway, The Princess Bride ended up winning the first tournament. Then last year, I recruited 3 of the other nerds to help me, and we did a Disney Pixar showdown. And of course, the amazing Beauty and the Beast 1991 won that one. So I was very excited. And this year, we've got some real heartbreakers of matchups, because we have to definitively answer the question, which is better, DC or Marvel? So we got 8 DC movies. And joining me today to announce the bracket and to give his analyses on the different showdowns is fellow real nerd Ryan. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Hey, it's what I do. And I'll try not to be a host. I'll just be the guest on my own podcast.
Hey, everybody's got to do it sometime, right?
I know. It's just weird. I sometimes when I'm guest on other people's podcasts, I got to just, remember that I don't ask the questions, I answer the questions. And that's something I'm not very good at.
Well, I honestly think that answering is easier than asking.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, it takes a lot to be as talented as me and be the guy who has to, interview people. But, it's what I do. It's what I do.
Well, do you think that you can be objective about these matchups, Ryan?
Probably not.
Yeah. Because, of course, today, kicking off the tournament is Batman Begins versus Spider-Man 2. So just as a recap, in case somebody didn't read the Selection Sunday announcement that I put up on the website, which if you haven't, you should go check it out, realnerdspodcast.com. Basically, I wasn't sure exactly how to build the bracket this year. I thought maybe I should do it by era, have the 1990s in one little corner, and then the 2000s in another, 2010s, 2020s or something like that. And that didn't really work out. So then I just thought of 8 DC movies, and I tried to find a mix of different main characters, different tones, different plots, and tried not to oversaturate it with Batman, because there are a lot of Batman movies. So I tried to get a little bit of everybody in there, and then I tried to find their counterparts in the Marvel universe. Something that came out about the same time, the same year or roughly the same year, or something that had a similar tone, or something. You'll see the one matchup even has the same director. So that's essentially how we got to where we are. So Ryan, we have our first matchup today. Batman Begins versus Spider-Man 2. The two of them came out a year apart, and they both had such a major impact on the comic book movie industry and the superhero movie genre. Who do you think's going to win today's matchup?
Well, it's an interesting matchup. One, because they're both really good movies. If you ask me, I think Spider-Man 2 is maybe the best comic book movie of all time. Batman Begins has a lot going for it because it kind of stripped away the goofiness of Batman that he was kind of locked in towards the end of the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Bale's take on Batman is always really good. The Ra's al Ghul reveal is fun. I really enjoy the end. Spoilers for a movie that's 17 years old, 15 years old. I love the part where Batman says, I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to save you. And he lets Ra's al Ghul die. I think is really cool. But Spider-Man 2 is so good. is everything a Spider-Man movie should be. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is one of the best comic book villains ever. And yeah, my heart and even my critical analysis says Spider-Man 2 is the better film. So I'm going to say Spider-Man 2.
Okay. And then in this corner of the bracket, we also have another Batman Spider-Man matchup. It just worked out. We have the two that are still currently in theaters. The Batman versus No Way Home is facing off tomorrow, Friday, the 18th of March. Ryan, we've still got these two movies in the theaters. What do you think? Who are the people going to vote for?
I even taking away my love of Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure No Way Home's going to run away with this one. My reason being is people love No Way Home. I mean, love it. It's a fun movie. Everybody gets behind it. You probably have your favorite Spider-Man in it, whether it's Toby, Andrew, or Tom. You're represented in this film. You're represented in the villain way. They're villains from every era. And it's just, I think it's too beloved not to win. Now, the Batman is really good, and it's holding really well, and it's really popular right now. But I think at the end of the day, I think No Way Home is going to win.
So then you think that the second round will be the two Spider-Man movies facing off against each other. Who do you think is going to go to the semifinals or the final four, if you will?
Yeah, you asked me to pick a favorite child on this. I still think it's going to be No Way Home. I think No Way Home is so beloved right now that it's going to be kind of a juggernaut. And yeah, so I'm gonna say No Way Home will also win that one.
Okay. Then moving down to the second part of the bracket, on Saturday, pulling up my thing here. Saturday the 19th, we have Shazam versus Deadpool. The two kind of wise talking, wacky shenanigans superheroes, I would say. I think the two of them have similar tones, so that's why I put them against each other. I don't know, Ryan. I don't really have a fight or a dog in this fight because I'm not a big fan of either movie. So who do you think's going on to the second round? Shazam
I actually think
or
this
Deadpool?
I think this is one of the most interesting matchups in the first round because they're so tonally different. Deadpool is rated R, and it goes for its R rating big time. Shazam is more kid friendly, but also
Barely.
they're both. Yeah, well,
I mean, I
except
still
for
think of that boardroom scene. It's like,
yeah, but I
damn.
mean, I'm pretty sure Shazam's rated PG.
No, it's got to be PG-13, Ryan.
No, I don't think so. But I don't know on that one. I would, if you're asking me what I think people will vote for, I think it's probably going to be Deadpool. What I will vote for, I don't know. I don't know yet. I would probably lean towards Deadpool, just because it's kind of a tone setter for me, and I think more significant as
Yes,
far
rated
as
PG-13 for intense sequences of action, language, and suggestive material.
yeah. I don't know. I think that one's going to be interesting.
I mean, they probably could do an R-rated cut of Shazam.
Oh, I'm sure they could. They could probably do an R-rated cut of most films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, man, I think Deadpool will win that one. Just because I think Deadpool is more universally beloved. And the hard thing is we're putting this out in Twitter, so it's going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also kind of weighing about how popular the character and or the film is outside of us.
Right. Well, we'll see if Twitterverse picks up on it, but it seems like the last 2 years we've had like a small amount of interaction on the polls, but we'll see. I think having it just on Twitter this year might help because
it's always weird
doing Twitter and Facebook, and it's like,
Well, it's always weird because sometimes it really depends on the thing. We get Google stuff every month about what performs well, and one of our best performing articles is every month, and I have no idea why, is the Autopsy of Jane Doe review of the Blu-ray I did like 5 years ago. It's always like in the top 5, and I have no idea why it keeps on popping up. But it's weird. And then I mean, your Princess. Every time last year when Princess Bride was in the bracket, a lot of people voted. So I think it's the movie, because Princess Bride is so beloved that I think it'll be interesting to see how interactive people get with it.
I mean, the another part about being on Twitter is depending on hashtags and tags used, it could get picked up, and all these Deadpool fanboys come out of the woodworks and just take it away. Deadpool will win. Who knows?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think Deadpool will win, but maybe Shazam has some hidden fans because Black Adam's coming out.
Well, I think I know which one Brad would pick over those two, but who knows?
Yeah.
Then on Sunday, March 20th, we have the James Gunn showdown, The Suicide Squad versus Guardians of the Galaxy. Another set of movies I don't really care about. I don't know, Ryan. What do you think? Who's taking the win?
You don't like Guardians of the Galaxy, man?
Oh, it's okay. I'm not a huge fan.
You're like the most cold-blooded like movie person ever.
It's like lower B tier of Marvel movies for me.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, this one's. I love Harley Quinn. I love her as a character. Before she was played wonderfully by Margot Robbie. I think the Suicide Squad might be a little too divisive, even though people do really like it. And I know Guardians of the Galaxy, besides you, is very beloved. So I'm going to probably say Guardians of the Galaxy will come out on top on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit easier for people to get on board with, whereas the Suicide Squad, I think, has more of a niche audience, but I don't know. I mean, I think that's just kind of the way that the DC movies have worked so far, is that they find those niche audiences, and then, they see the movie a billion times, but everybody else is like, not for me.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel, I think, is just more universally, like, everybody just goes to a Marvel movie. That's just how it is. Or at least that's how it's become. So then on Monday, March 21st, we're starting at the top of the second side of the bracket. We have Joker versus Logan. Two darker, grittier takes on very brightly costumed characters. I don't know, Ryan. Who do you think's taking it?
Oh, geez, that's another one where I don't know. I mean, the Logan has a lot going for it because everybody loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Xavier. I think Logan is emotionally a better film. I think if you want to be disturbed and watch someone who's maybe the Joker, who might not be the Joker, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. Where are you feeling on that one?
I personally like Logan a lot better. I think Joker, like we were saying, it has more of that niche audience, and I know some people really like it, but I think more people are on board with Logan just because it is the culmination of his story, and it introduces X-23, and you see, Xavier die. It just has a lot of emotional stakes there. And Joker, I mean, it has some too, but I think the whole fact that, like, so much of it is like, is it real or is it just something he makes up in his head? It doesn't leave you with the same kind of emotional impact that Logan does.
Yeah, one of my biggest complaints with the Joker is I think it should have ended with him on top of the cop car, like smiling. The last tag scene where he's in the mental institution kind of undermines the whole film. Even though it's one of my favorite films from 2019. I mean, I'm just going heavy Marvel, but I still think Logan will probably win. But I don't know, has enough time passed that Logan came out that maybe it's lost some of its steam? I don't know. I think Logan's a better movie for sure.
Possibly. We'll see. Tuesday, March 22nd, we have the Kings facing off Aquaman versus Black Panther. I know I will be voting for Black Panther if I need to vote, but I'm not going to vote because I need to cast the deciding vote in case there's a tie. But anyway, Ryan, who do you think's gonna squeak out the win here? Because I think this could be a very close showdown.
Oh, I don't. I think Black Panther is going to crush it. I think Black Panther is one of the most beloved Marvel movies, and I, I, I'm real. I still feel the. I still feel like I miss Chadwick Boseman a lot, especially when you watch What If and he voices T'Challa in it.
Mm.
And I think he's so beloved, and that character is so loved, even though he was only in a handful of movies. And What If? I think Black Panther is going to probably crush Aquaman.
I could see that happening. My friend Jerry, he loves Aquaman. I think he likes Black Panther more, but it seems like the people I know who like Aquaman, they love it. Like it just gave like this breath of fresh air to the DCEU that I think it desperately needed.
Yeah, people that love Aquaman love him. There's a comic store in Parker where the owner's favorite character is Aquaman, and you don't see that very often. But I mean, he has a whole shelf that has nothing but Aquaman action figures on it, and I mean, it's big. I'd say maybe 100 action figures of Aquaman, and it's impressive in its own right. So, yeah, I don't know who's more passionate, Black
Well,
Panther or Aquaman fans.
well, then you also have Jason Momoa in Aquaman. And I mean, Chadwick Boseman is a beautiful man, but sadly he's no longer with us. Whereas Jason Momoa, people get to drool over every day still. So, eh,
Yeah,
maybe that will help somehow.
I don't know, maybe.
All right, then on
I don't know.
Wednesday, yeah, on Wednesday, we moved down to the Superman versus Captain America section of the bracket. We have Man of Steel versus the Winter Soldier. So the two movies came out a year apart, and it's just say you take both of these like American icons, these do-gooders, and you put them in this world that is completely antithesis to, at least how they are in the comic books or, how they were initially portrayed. So I don't know, Ryan. Who do you think is going to take it? Man of Steel versus the Winter Soldier?
So if you ask me what the best Marvel MCU movie is, um, before No Way Home came out, I might lean towards Winter Soldier. I think Winter Soldier has such a cool vibe to it with its espionage, um, its conflict, and I really love the last scene between Zemo and T'Challa, where he thought he could, oh, I'm
Wait,
thinking
are
the wrong
you
one. Sorry,
talking
that's
about?
Civil War. I mean,
I was gonna say that's the next matchup.
yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I mean the whole like kind of 70s thriller aspect to Winter Soldier, where your past comes back to haunt you, I think is really, really cool. And I don't know. I I think I think Winter Soldier will win. I keep on being told that Superman is still the most popular superhero in the world, and I only know one of my friends loves Superman. I mean, adores Superman. But he seems like too old school. Even though Man of Steel is fun, somewhat. I don't know. I think Winter Soldier will win, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not
gonna
a
have
big
all
fan of.
Marvel movies.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Man of Steel. There are two scenes in it that are actually good, and then the one is when Clark Kent is wearing a KU Jayhawks shirt, and then the other is
Hmm.
when he's drinking a beer and he's watching a KU football game. Which I'm telling you, like only real KU fans watch the football game, so we know that Clark Kent must be a huge KU fan. So I mean, I guess
Well,
in that sense the movie's okay, but otherwise I hated what they did with Superman in the movie.
I think Kevin Costner is great in that movie. Um, but yeah,
Well, yeah, and I think that Henry Cavill is not a bad Superman, but I think he just gets very bad material. Zack Snyder doesn't like Superman, I think.
yeah. Well, that's
His whole like, gritty superheroes thing is very antithesis to what Superman is supposed to be, at least the versions of him I've seen. So that's where I
yeah.
stand on it. I don't like
Well,
to shit on all the DC movies, but
well,
frustrating.
I mean, if you put like Superman 78 in this one,
Mm.
I it'd be a little more interesting because I think Christopher Reeve is a better Superman, and I think there is a charm to the '78 Superman that is awesome. I mean, Hackman's Lex Luthor is not my favorite, but I think as far as the tone of the film, I think is way better with John Williams' score as well.
I would agree with you there. I mean, I did
but
have Batman 89 initially included with the DC films, and then Brad was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that because it's so old that it wouldn't be able to compete with the more modern superhero movies. And I was like, I understand that. So that's why I exchanged it for Batman Begins.
I don't know. I think, yeah. So I say Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So then closing out the first round, we have Batman v Superman versus Captain America Civil War on Thursday, March 24th. These two movies came out the same year. They had the similar premise of, two multiple heroes going against each other. It was just so weird how that happened. But Ryan, what do you think? Who's going to take this last matchup in the first round? Batman v Superman or Captain America Civil War?
So I love the last scene in Civil War where T'Challa is talking to Zemo, and I don't think this one's going to be close. The Civil War one has Black Panther's introduction, has Spider-Man's introduction. It has the conflict and one of the coolest comic scenes ever, the fight in the airport. And then also I think Robert Downey Jr. is so awesome in this movie where he finds out that the Winter Soldier is responsible for his parents' death. And he says, that son of a bitch killed my mom. I fucking love that line. And it sets up so much of the final phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Batman Superman, I wouldn't even call it Batman v Superman because I hate the title. I think Batman Superman has its moments, but when their conflict is resolved by their mom's name being the same, it doesn't quite have the same impact as no resolution is found because the guy that Steve Rogers is sticking up for killed Iron Man's parents, and it creates a fracture that isn't really ever healed until Endgame. And I don't know. It's just Zack Snyder. He makes things look really cool, and I've always said this: it looks cool. The movie looks awesome, but yeah. And Ben Affleck, I think, is a really cool Batman. I think he plays the tortured, middle-aged Batman really well. But I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, even though I've seen it quite a bit. I don't know. I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, I love the scene I think it might be in the Ultimate version only, where Batman meets Wonder Woman at the gala or whatever it is. And I'm like, yes, they have such great chemistry, and I'm as much as I don't like Zack Snyder's Justice League just because I feel like it's super long and unnecessarily full of itself, I do like their chemistry. Actually, I think both versions of Justice League had really good scenes between those two.
And I guess, Justice League did, and Batman Superman did give us Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I think she's great. But yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Batman v Superman either, so I'm sorry.
I don't even call it that. I call it Batman Superman because I think it's a dumb title.
Well, then I wouldn't want to confuse it with Batman Superman Apocalypse, which is a far superior movie, but unfortunately it's animated. Dang it. Why do I do this to myself?
Yep.
See, DC, you just need to release all of your animated movies into the theater. Then they'll actually be good, right?
I am a fan of DC animated films.
Yeah. I feel like we're just shitting on the DC movies, and I'm sure Brad's getting mad listening to us.
No, I said they're good. It's just what I think will win. I
don't think you had a single DC movie going to the second round.
No, but I could see Batman Begins, beating Spider-Man 2. I don't think it will. The Suicide Squad possibly, and Joker and Logan, I think are the two that could, or the 3 or 4 that could make it.
So Ryan, who do you think is going to win the whole thing? What do you think the kind of final four is going to look like?
So my final four is I got No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther,
Mm.
and man, this is a tough one. I'm going to say, just on its popularity, Civil War, even though I think Winter Soldier is a better movie.
Yeah, I think Civil War has more going for it. Like you said, it has Black Panther and Spider-Man's introduction. Whereas Winter Soldier, I haven't seen it in a while. And not like it's a bad movie, but I think I would rewatch Civil War first.
Yeah, Civil War's easier to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Winter Soldier, I mean, I think, like I said, Winter Soldier is in the upper echelon of comic book movies for me. I mean, the scene alone where Captain America's on the ship is badass. But
I mean, how do you make Robert Redford a bad guy? Like, he's just so handsome. Even at like 800 years old, the guy is still so handsome.
I know, but that's why you don't expect it. That's why it's awesome. But yeah, so yeah, your Marvel versus DC, in my opinion, will come down to a Marvel Final Four.
That is entirely possible. We'll have to see how things shake out.
It's just like the women's bracket in the NCAA tournament. Just pick all number ones to go straight through, and you might be right.
Yeah, we didn't have, if anybody's listening who's curious, we did not have ranks or seeds this year for each movie. It just became way too complicated. So that's why, like No Way Home is not like ranked number one in its side of the bracket or anything. It's just random. I just liked certain matchups and it all just sort of worked out that way. Batman and Spider-Man, Superman and Captain America.
Yeah, I mean,
was almost incidental.
The Batman No Way Home one, I think, might be really interesting because obviously Batman is trending really hard right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I think No Way Home should win. I think it has more going for it, but they're both really good movies. And yeah, but I just think Spider-Man's just a little better, like a smidge better.
Well, I think
who am I kidding? It's 3 times better.
Yeah, I think you were saying the other day, like it has more rewatch value. Like it's easier to rewatch, whereas the Batman is very, I mean, I guess both of them are really long, but the Batman feels longer just because it's so dark and grim. And I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I rewatched the Batman yesterday because my kid's at school, and then I made the mistake of driving down there, and then I realized I had to come back down there again. I'm like, man, I drove like 200 miles yesterday. And, so I didn't plan my day very well, but yeah, it's still fun. I mean, I still liked it. I think it's more fun because there's only one other person in this huge theater with me at Alamo. But yeah.
So you think that Spider-Man No Way Home is going to take the whole bracket and it will be crowned Movie Madness 2022 champion? Is that your prediction?
Yeah, that's my prediction. Is No Way Home will win.
Okay.
It will take home the prize of No Way Home.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that. We'll have to see what you, the listeners and fans of the Real Nerds podcast, decide. Remember to go to the Real Nerds Twitter page to cast your vote every day. We will have a new matchup. Once we conclude the first round, we will start the second round. So you'll have to just keep an eye on the Real Nerds Twitter page and the website for any more announcements on Movie Madness 2022. Ryan, any final thoughts on the bracket or Movie Madness this year?
No, just get out and vote for Spider-Man.
Or whatever movie you like more. Or whatever. I mean, as much as I like Marvel movies, I really hope that we have at least a couple of DC movies in the second round. I hope at least one DC movie makes it to the final four, because the way you're saying it might shake out, we might not have a DC movie in the final four of this bracket.
Yeah, just you put too many Spider-Mans in there. Spider-Man's the greatest.
Yeah, and you're completely unbiased when you say that, right?
Yep, my unbiased opinion is Spider-Man is the greatest comic. I don't even say comic book hero. I say Spider-Man is the greatest literary character of all time.
Wow, bold statement.
Yep, and a true one.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today, Ryan. Thank you to the listeners and the fans of the Real Nerds podcast. Get out and vote today, this
for Spider-Man.
week. The next several weeks, we will be crowning our champion. The final showdown will be March 31st, so we will have our champion on April 1st. So please get out and vote for your favorite movie to win DC versus Marvel Movie Madness. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thwip.